Welcome back, everyone. Today, we've got an explainer that goes straight to the very heart of human devotion. We're taking a little detour from the usual data and charts to unpack a true masterpiece of patriotic literature. I mean, have you ever wondered what it actually looks like to give yourself completely to a higher cause? Like holding absolutely nothing back? Today, we're going to break down the profound emotional architecture of a text that literally defines what it means to completely surrender. It's an incredible journey, so let's dive right into this beautiful exploration of love, sacrifice, and the poetry of ultimate patriotism.
Mind surrendered, body surrendered, and this life surrendered. Just let that opening line sink in for a second. This is exactly how our source text kicks off. There is such an evocative, measured pacing to these words. Notice the deliberate repetition of the concept of surrender, which in the original Hindi text is the word samarpit. It immediately, from the very first syllable, sets a tone of profound emotional devotion. We are talking about an offering that goes way beyond just making a small contribution, or, paying a tax. What the poet is describing here is the absolute relinquishment of the self.
So that immediately brings up a really fascinating question, right? If your mind, your body, and your literal life are already given away, what on earth is actually left to give? It's a brilliant paradox established right out of the gate in our source material. The speaker has essentially zeroed out their entire balance sheet of existence. By all standard logic, the transaction should be completely over. You've given your life, you're done. But as we'll see, the poet's devotion completely defies this logic. They're operating on an entirely different plane of love for their motherland.
Let's look at Section 1, Complete Surrender, the initial offerings.
We can break down these initial sacrifices into three buckets. We've got mind, or man, body, or tan, and life, which is jivan. I mean, think about it. This covers the absolute entirety of a standard human existence. The mind represents all your thoughts, your intellect, your dreams, and your internal drive. The body represents your physical labor, your capacity for action, and your tangible presence in the world. And life itself? Well, that's the vital thread holding the whole shebang together. Together, they represent 100% of the mortal self. It's incredibly rare to give 100% of any of those things individually to a single cause, let alone all three at the exact same time.
But then, right after that total 100% sacrifice, the poet drops this incredible line, "I want to give you something more." I mean, wow. Imagine giving literally everything you have, your mind, your body, your life, and still feeling frustrated by the limits of your own human existence because you just desperately want to give more. This phrase, "Chahta hoon desh ki dharti, tujhe kuch aur bhi doon," acts as our rhetorical anchor throughout the text. It highlights a completely unquenchable thirst to sacrifice way beyond what is typical for any mortal being.
Which brings us to Section 2, the motherland's immense debt, the scale of devotion.
Now consider the massive contrast going on here. On one side, we have the motherland's immense debt. The text explicitly says, "Mother, your debt is immense." The nation has provided the very soil, the rich culture, the daily sustenance, and the very identity that makes the poet who they are. On the other side, in stark contrast, we have the poet's self-described destitute state. When you weigh this massive opposing force, the overwhelming historical vastness of the nation against the incredible smallness of the individual, you instantly get why giving absolutely everything still feels like giving practically nothing at all to the poet.
Let's actually zoom in on a very specific, powerful word used right in the text, akinchan. It translates to destitute, basically meaning possessing absolutely nothing. But in this context, it's not about financial poverty at all. It represents a state of extreme, profound humility. The poet is essentially saying, next to your greatness, motherland, I am akinchan. I am fundamentally empty-handed. It's a beautifully poetic unpacking of humility. It kind of makes you wonder, when was the last time any of us felt truly akinchan in the face of something greater than ourselves?
And because the poet feels so deeply akinchan, so completely destitute next to this massive generational debt, it pushes them to formulate a plea that takes this whole concept of sacrifice to an entirely new, almost shocking level. They are so incredibly eager to repay the unpayable that a normal offering just isn't going to cut it. They have to ask the motherland for a favor. They have to humbly request that she accept something far, far heavier.
That leads us right into Section 3, the ultimate sacrifice, ego death.
We've got another fascinating linguistic zoom in here, this time on the word ball. Literally translated, it means the forehead or the head, but symbolically, the head is the absolute center of our pride, our ego, and our individual identity. So by focusing on ball, the poet is offering up the ultimate physical sacrifice, for sure, but more importantly, it represents the absolute, undeniable surrender of the ego. For a lot of us, Letting go of our pride and our sense of self-importance is actually the hardest sacrifice of all. It's way harder than just surrendering physical labor.
And listen to how that exact word is used in this hauntingly beautiful line. When I bring my head decorated on a platter, please kindly accept this surrender. Talk about intense imagery, right? But look really closely at the phrasing there. Please kindly accept. They are actually anxious. Imagine bringing your own head on a platter to the altar of your nation and still being worried that it might be deemed an unworthy repayment for the country's debt. The poet is literally pleading for it to be enough. That is a staggering level of devotion.
And just when you think the devotion has hit its absolute ceiling, boom, we return to our main rhetorical anchor. I want to give you something more. It's the built-in plot twist of the text, and it is just amazing. Even offering the head, the ego, the very life itself, isn't the final limit of his devotion. The mortal body has been completely spent. The ego is entirely gone. So where on earth does the poet go next? Well, they have to look completely outside of themselves to find more things to give.
Let's move into our final section, Section 4, the eternal vow, beyond the physical.
Here, the poet starts building this staggering staircase of devotion. Step 1 is every song, which represents all art, all human expression, and all joy. Step 2 is every era, moving entirely beyond a single human lifespan and offering up all of time itself, past, present, and future. And step 3 is every particle of life, drilling all the way down into the microscopic elemental essence of the soul. We are seeing the poet escalate his promises to encompass literally every dimension of existence, from the infinitely large scope of time down to the infinitely small scope of a single particle.
Every song, every era surrendered, every particle of life surrendered. This line is absolutely crucial because it beautifully reinforces how the poem masterfully expands its scope. It starts by surrendering a singular, physical body in the present moment, and it ends by surrendering the eternal soul across all ages. It's a complete, breathtaking transcendence of human limitation in the name of patriotic love. The physical boundaries of what a human being actually is have just completely melted away.
And we hit that rhetorical anchor one last time. I want, O land of my country, to give you something more. By coming back to this exact phrase after venturing into the eternal, infinite realm, the text firmly cements the unending nature of this devotion in our minds. There's no conclusion to this giving. The desire to serve the motherland outlives the fragile human body, it outlives time itself, and it remains eternally hungry to give more. It's an infinite loop of love and surrender.
And that basically wraps up our explainer. We've just unpacked a breathtaking display of historical, literary devotion. But I want to leave you with this thought to carry with you. In our modern world, a world so often defined by taking, consuming, and individual gain, what more are we willing to surrender to our roots today? What does complete surrender look like for you in your own life? Something to think about. Thanks for learning with me today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.